Welcome back to the channel, people. Make sure you like, share and subscribe, and let's get into the video. It's about the OGs of the plumbers, yeah? And I'm specifically wanting to make this video because the lessons which we learn off of our older generation, if you do have a mentor, are so crucial to you be taking your business from doing local jobs to actually winning big contracts and understanding how to write reports, but understanding the lesson which you've been taught today. So I've been taught this lesson many times. There is nothing wrong with learning a lesson once, twice, 3 times to get it right, because you have to understand, we all don't understand this aspect of business when it comes to running contracts and actually doing jobs on a corporate level, right? And that's what I'm here to talk about today, because we get that we have the understanding how to go to a job, price it up, do a little video about the job, do a little brief summary about the job, but how do we write reports properly? I'm going to break all this down in this video, so make sure you subscribe, like and share, right? So as you know, if you have watched any of my content before, I've been a plumber for 21 years. At certain points in everybody's career, yeah, let me just move this out of the way, we've felt like we know it all, but you don't. You learn so much from the OGs of plumbing, right? And everyone's not an OG, so let's not get this twisted. Yeah, you have certain people who have won contracts. They understand how to talk to these managers. They understand how to be able to get their price across the right way and what we need to do step by step to be able to make sure the job is done properly, right? So if we turn up to a job and we say, oh, there's a leak, we need to drill through this place, and we just start doing it because you want to start, I'm a grafter and I just want to get on with the job. That's not how things need to be done. Things need to go through a chain of command. There needs to be a report. There needs to be a level of understanding of what key works, what needs to be taking place next time we visit the site. Yeah, it's easy for someone to say to you, just get along with it, just get it done. Yeah, it's so easy. And what we do at some points when we do that is we overlook the key factors, which is always going to be health and safety first, right? So if I go to a site, I ask whatever relative questions I need to be able to understand what the next steps, what I can do. I can investigate to a certain point, but if there's not registers available, if there's not an understanding to know when and when we can't do drilling or do major works, which might be noisy, which might be damaging, which might be, it might upset the workplace if you're working in that inside of that working environment. And I've understand this because I do this day in, day out. But one thing you're not going to get is you're not going to get an open mind if you go into a lot of these jobs thinking that you know how to do it all yourself, because generally we do domestic jobs, yeah, as plumbers. So when it comes into commercial settings, which is office spaces, universities, hospitals, etc., there is a different procedure which must take place. Yeah, so after a site visit there needs to be a site report, right, on what you've done. If you're not kind of good at writing summaries, guess what, it's going to be a struggle for you, because the information is paramount to getting the payment, right? And when you don't do that, you just don't understand why it takes so long, or why the process is like this. But that's what they do in the corporate world of work. And we don't understand that sometimes as plumbers, because like I said, you're dealing with Sheila, you're dealing with John, you're dealing with Paul, who just wants a job done. Mate, I just want the job done. I got a leak, I got this, I got that, just want the job done. When you learn how to do things properly, yeah, you understand how a business operates. I can't stress that to people enough. People might be happy with the way how they do things, but there is always a way how to do things more better, efficient, and how things should be done in business, right? And people see that through your actions, because you know how to explain what you're doing, you know how to write the reports, and you know what the next steps are. So therefore you can bill accordingly. Yeah, and that is what all that work for, is to be able to bill for the work what we do. But we can't do that if we don't have a good understanding. And the OGs, they know how to do it. They know and they understand that the process of 1, 2, 3 always works. You don't do 1 and then you do 3, because it doesn't work like that. And work is about business, and running the business, there's just so many key factors what go into it when it comes to site visits, when it comes to, like, let's say, like, going to a job and actually having to do an investigation. Your investigation is separate to the work what needs to be commenced or needs to be done. Do you get it? But you can't always walk around and say, oh, I know what to do, and I know this and I know that, because guess what? You don't. I've seen so many people struggle with this part of work, but not understand that, oh, it's a bit they don't understand that I just want to get the job done. That's just not how it works. And I can't stress that to people enough. But what I do is, when I learn on my channel, yeah, and I learn personally from my life, personal experiences, I let you know. That's why you need to subscribe, because my thing is about teaching people about the things which we learn every day to be able to grow your business. I recently made a 5-part series, is how I started a plumbing business. And I break down every step to step, how I've moved from just registering a company, just going out doing jobs, just being able to create some jobs, and to the point where I'm at today, which is to be able to manage contracts, to be able to win contracts. I've recently put out a video, if anybody's struggling, how to even ace that interview. And that interview blueprint will work anywhere, but that will get your foot in with just getting a 9-to-5 job. But that's not where a lot of people want to be nowadays, because they want to run their own business. They want to have contracts with people. But to not make your contract get messed up, you need to be crystal clear. I've spoke about cadence before, which is being very clear with your words. I always write out my emails, my reports, and before I send them, I read through them, because there's a whole level of understanding what you need to learn before you even send that, because there could be key points what you're missing out. And it's about listening to yourself and understanding, my report is like this big, but the report what comes out is like this big, because I need to document everything which I've done step by step to be able to let the customer or the client understand that I know what I'm talking about. And once they understand I know what I'm talking about, we can now move on to understanding what the problem is and how I've identified it and how I'm going to repair it. There is a process. Never skip the process. Again, I say to people, yeah, if you can meet any of these OGs in plumbing that are willing to teach you something, a lot of the time, yeah, your time is not really valuable for them, because they're having to teach you, invested within you. And then you got to ask yourself, when I'm invested now, am I going to stay within what I'm doing? Because what I've learned is that I get better at what I'm doing by understanding it. And you got to move away from thinking that you know everything, because guess what? You don't. I didn't know everything, and I'm comfortable and confident to say that I didn't know, but I have good teachers. I have good OGs in plumbing. I say OGs because what else is there to refer to someone who understands what they're doing 40 years, 50 years into it? The life experience, what they've got to give to you, yeah? I mean, it's out of this world. But if you're too ignorant to understand that there's a lesson to be learned in everything what you're doing, you won't get far. I teach a small circle of plumbers who want to know stuff, who respect what we're saying, that understand that there could be wins and there could be losses. But from your losses, you learn how to win again. You learn what the mistake was. You might start having contracts and you might say to yourself, you know what? I'm making money. I've got 100 grand, and you could lose all of it. You could lose it. I spoke to someone the other day and they told me such a story. It was a young man who he knew. He got a lot of contracts, started buying a Porsche, got himself a house, lost everything. ended up in a Peugeot 206. There isn't nothing wrong with whatever car you're driving as long as it gets you to your destination. But it's not where that person wanted to be. And the reality check, what they've had to take for life, yeah, will sit with them for a while. But if you can't admit your mistakes, you're not going to get past any point, especially in this plumbing industry. No, you're not. So be very clear. Understand that you need to write down your steps on what you do. I take loads of pictures when I turn up to site because it allows me, and this is how I learn, is to tell a story. The story of when I got there, what I done, what we are here to do, the objective, yeah, and what needs to be done furthering up from this visit. I've understood over the years, we can't fix everything now because there's procedures and ways which we've got to go about to do things because that's business. And a lot of other people don't talk about these things because they're not doing business on this level. Stop the cap. I'll be real with you. They don't do business on this level. Neither do they want to talk to you and explain to you about it because their thing is not about sharing information. My content is about sharing information, letting people understand that there's many steps to take to walk up a stairs. Yeah, you walk up the stairs like a child anyway. Left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. That's how it works. And having these mentors and people who have got this experience within life, you cannot pay for now. I've met and I know other people that have 20 years of experience. Might be a gas engineer. I've never claimed to be a gas engineer. I've never been gas qualified. Yeah. But I work with predominantly a lot of gas engineers. So there's a lot of knowledge which I understand and know myself, which when I'm ready to incorporate that into business, we will. But I say this because I've always been on the verge of inheriting another business, which I've spoke about before. So my uncle runs a big business, big contractors, people who I can work with in the future, but he's started a legacy with working with these companies and brands, yeah? So I need to carry that on because I'm the plumber who's holding the torch. So I'm learning from the OGs, even though a lot of people see me online and they learn from my content, whether they like it or not. I know they do. And I'm not saying that in a cocky way. I'm saying that because I know that other people, they don't talk about the things what I'm talking about when it comes to business. They don't. Whether it's them not thinking that it's interesting to talk about or it's not relevant, of course it's relevant. What's relevant is how to make money within business. And there's the corporate side, there's the domestic jobs, what you're going to do, and there's the installation side. I broke down installation and domestic work here is the two sides, and maintenance is the two sides, sorry, of the plumbing industry. We've got one side here and one side there. They both equally wield so much money, but you will never get to the bag if you don't learn. Yeah, I'll be real with you. If you have this ignorant mindset, which a lot of people do have when it comes to, oh, I know it, I know what to do. No one can't tell me what to do because I know everything. I had to give up that attitude because it's only getting me to 50, 60,000, 80,000. It's not enough. I live in London. It's not enough. It's not enough to be saying that you're running a successful business that's turning over a certain level of profit. I know that. You know that. Once you start paying your tax off that 80 grand or that 90 grand, you're not left with a big amount, my boy, my girl. It's a small amount. So understand what I'm saying to people because, again, I don't hear people saying this, and you won't hear people saying this for a key reason because they're not looking at business and understanding that there's no height to business. I'm going to say from now, yeah, I'm going to quote this video in a couple of years. I'm going to say, I remember when I made this video and I told you about the OGs of plumbing will pave the way for the younger generation. But if people go off and only branch out and don't learn lessons, which are valuable lessons, I'm telling you, they're so valuable, they will suffer in the future because you won't have the skills to be able to deal. You will have to watch other people be successful and wonder to yourself, oh, why I don't get these jobs? Why you don't get them jobs is because you've never been a person who's willing to listen and learn from your own mistakes. We all make mistakes. I think this whole making mistakes and not understanding that they are mistakes, and it's okay. But it's a better lesson to learn from your own mistakes what you make. Being confident, competent, qualified are the three things that you need to be. And then the boosty bonus on top of that is finding someone you can learn from. Because at no point in anybody's life, unless they give up on just or they're demotivated, is it time to stop learning. And that's something that I've learned. So with my own platform, I tell people the honest truth. I know people don't like the truth. I know people think, oh, I know everything. I know how to do this. I know how to do that. You don't. I didn't. I have 22 years of experience. But combinedly with my uncle's knowledge, we're getting up to 60 years, 65 years. That can't be bought. That can't be sold. There isn't a price on that. Someone who goes up to the 20 years of experience knows that there's a lot more in it, but they don't know how to reach that next level because they've not took the understanding of taking steps within business and saying to yourself, okay, I'm going to stop at this step because I'm learning so much about getting contracts, winning over contracts, letting people see that just by my ability to be able to come to a job, assess it, fault find the problem, make the good repair, that will speak volumes of your work. I go to workplaces, yeah, and different environments, and I see shitty, shoddy work being done. Who signed that off? Who said that was okay? You see the way I'm looking at the mic? Who said that was okay? Who said that was compliant? And these are things which, as plumbers, yeah, it probably don't come into your mind. But you need to think like that because that's thinking like a business. So this understanding what I have, I want it to echo and reverberate within people for them to understand this side of business. It's not for the faint-hearted, you know. Like, I've met people and been the site supervisor, yeah, and they come to my site and they've said, oh, you know, yo, with your knowledge, you know a bit. Do you want to come work for me? Nah, because you told me that those two guys who you sent were your best guys, and I knew more than them from the beginning. So unless you're willing to, I'm not willing to jump ships for payments. I'm willing to build something which is got sustainability, which has got power from understanding, and which has got my stamp on it, which is the things which I've learned over the 21 years, which is the things that I've picked up from the OGs within the plumbing industry, my OGs, and make sure I do them things when I'm on the job, that they see me doing them things. They see me being due diligent. They see me checking all areas if we're checking for a leak. If I can hear running water running, I'm going to say, oh, let's go to all the outlets. Let's make sure that we do a detailed check of every area. We don't just do stuff and say, oh, I've got to shoot off. Because all that shoot off vibe, yeah, it creates an element of like you're not that interested in the job. You've got so many other things going that you can't commit to doing this job and giving your all, because that's what they want. And once you're seen by giving your all, yeah, you separate yourself by far from all of the other cockroaches, because that's what they look like to you when you're on a job. Because people know you're being due diligent. People know that you've got pictures, evidence, reports. You make a file just for that job, and you store that information just in one place. Because when you need to go back to something for a reference, you have that. You make sure that you write down, oh, they've had previous leaks, what's been in this place. That allows you now to have some history of what goes on. You wouldn't have known that before. So if you ever do get a call from, oh yeah, you know what, we've got a leak. Oh, okay. What we'll do is we'll have a little look at some of the notes what are on the jobs before, and we'll pop down, and at least we have a good understanding on hereditary places where you've had leaks or problems before. Oh, we've attended this property before, and we had a leak at this place. So that might be a hot spot for you to start looking at straight away. You might just not waste yourself 20 to 30 minutes or even an hour looking for something in a place where you don't need to be looking. Do you get it? I make these videos for people to understand that things make sense when you look at things with that plumbing brain on. Yeah? You come to the job and you think like an engineer, you think like a plumber. You don't think like someone who's doing an everyday thing. I'm not a delivery driver. No disrespect to any delivery drivers, but I'm not just going about my day blasé. I need to go about my day with the head on of a plumber who understands what he's looking at and works through things. I work through things a lot of the time in process of elimination, point blank. I eliminate this, which might be the source where it first comes from. Then I go to the second, third, fourth, fifth. And that way we have a better understanding on what's going on. I know some of the OGs are sometimes hard to work with because they give you nothing but tough love. But that's what they got. Look how they turned out. You go to their house, it's nicer than yours. You want what they've got. So take time to be able to learn. I said this many and many times over and over again. Those people give the best advice and knowledge for you to be able to get to point 1 to point 2. After you get to point 2 to get to point 3, it's pretty much on you. It's about how you conduct yourself, your attendance, your punctuality, your understanding of what you're doing. And now you're learning. And when you're learning, you're always earning. Do you get it? Learn, earn, learn, earn, learn, earn. Now we're taking steps. And I'm telling you, at this point, nobody could hold you back. I know we think to ourselves, where do we find these people? That is a hard question. I've been lucky enough to have people within my family who are like that. I have 2 uncles who are like that. I never speak about what type of contracts we have or who we have contracts with, but I've said it to people so many times. I work in the most expensive areas in London, so they ain't playing no games. I ain't playing no games neither. I need to be on point. And being on point is being like a sponge at certain points and soaking in all the information. You might want to ask questions. So write them down. Why don't you write some questions down? What you need answering. When I'm mentoring my own group of my pals and my mates who I've met over the time, who I know that like they need a bit inspiration, but they also need people to tell them how to step up. I tell them. I tell them because it only makes my circle stronger. I've most recently got a drainage engineer on the team, and I liked him because he knew his stuff. So I wanted to take him with me to take him up to the next level. Because as the generations go on, you tell me who are they going to call? Because times are changing. Some of the biggest companies in London who get the biggest jobs, they're not there no more. So it leaves it open for everybody else. I'm not there to be sitting by and not getting it. My channel is about helping people get it and learn. Again, if I'm learning all these lessons and I'm not teaching anyone, why are you following me? Why are you pressing subscribe? This is what my whole thing is about. Learning. Nothing wrong with making mistakes, people, you know. Don't ever downplay yourself while not knowing something. It's fine. Because the next day, you've got a chance to come even better than what you was doing before. But you know, if you have this attitude of laziness, yeah, it's not going to work. I speak to enough people that are lazy. And yes, I do try to motivate them because I've seen the light. I've seen something a little bit better than what I was just working with before. And it took time. It took moments where, oh, I get it now, man. I didn't get it before because I didn't have that plumbing engineer's mindset. I had a normal people's mindset, which was I'm just going to work to do work. I'm just going to go and do a day's graft and I'm just going to go and get a couple of £100. A couple of £100 ain't keeping any business open. It's not going to keep your business open at all. You're going to be going down very soon. You're going to be scrounging for jobs and not getting calls where you want to get them. So that side of it is separate. Marketing, digital footprint. I mean, I've learned how to do that myself. I've done a really good job of it. But now it's the other part, which is winning the contracts, which is learning off of the OGs, which is making sure that I'm passing on the baton and also teaching other people. Because guess what? People taught me. I can't go on like people didn't teach me. That's crazy. You do not get out of the wound and know everything. It's impossible. I know a lot of these times are hard to take for people because there is an airy fairy part of being in construction and being a plumber, yeah, which you feel that you know it all. It's a fact. You feel like you know it all. You don't. You haven't come across everything. No, I work in certain areas where there's old school pipe work. There's pipe work which is fitted in shoddy or not up to standards. But I don't make videos and say, "Oh, guys, look at this pipe work. It's all wonky and it's all this, all that." No, I don't. I might let someone know that it's installed not the best or it's a bit untidy, but that's as far as my comments go on stuff like that. If we don't have that, the older generation and others to learn from, yeah, this whole industry will be cooked soon. Telling you, it will be cooked, and a lot of the work will be outsourced to nothing but Europe. I'm telling you from now, because the industry needs like 70,000 people as plumbers. We don't even get that type of pass rate within colleges. Pass rate is lower. You go and look at the statistics of pass rates of colleges, it gets lower, lower, lower. The course book 635 is about this thick. what they teach now, which is 720, which is about this thing. Make it make sense. They're teaching you less in college, expecting you to know more as you get out there, with multiple different systems which are in most households, domestic places, and commercial places. Again, if you've never seen them, you've got to learn. And that whole learning the process isn't going to happen overnight. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is that if you get yourself an OG that knows a bit, stick with him. Ask him to be your mentor, man. Forget trying to be these people's mate. Just ask the question, could you mentor me? Is it all right? Like, what can I give you back if you mentor me? Do you want something in return? If you want something in return and it's viable, believe me, I would want to learn off of you. And you know that whole just doing that, yeah? Trust me. Where I started from, where some of my peers are, the separation is miles. Because I'm a transparent person. Like I said to you, I learn something, I put on my camera, I click on YouTube, I come here, I tell you to subscribe at the beginning of the video, I tell you what it's going to be about, and we chop it up. We chop it up. I don't try and give you any BS in between. I don't care about that, man. I care about more people winning. That's what my platform's about. Period. Point blank. So please do take my word seriously, because you don't hear a lot of people talking like this. And it's only because they're winning themselves. They ain't got time to tell people. I got time to tell people. But like, share, and subscribe. OGs are the plumbers. They're not going to be about for much longer. The experienced people with 20 years, the experienced people with 30, 40, 50 years, they're not about. 50 is the max. You had to start plumbing when you was 20. That means that you'd be 70 when you're finishing work. One of the guys who I used to work with at my first plumbing company is 70 years old now. He still works. Being 70 years old, there's limited amount of work what you can do at that age, because physically your body can't handle it. Your mind is seasoned probably because you've seen so much, but your physical body, it can't handle it. That's why the young G's, the YNs, they need to be in training from early. Yeah? Or else you're going to be going around the cycle, which is, oh, I get a job, lose a job, I'm not building myself, I haven't started my own company. I met so many different tradespeople who are like 10, 15 years in, haven't got nothing set up, even for themselves. They haven't even got a company registered, but they tell me that they do jobs, and they do this and they do that. That's cool. That's cool. Isn't getting you anywhere though. Let's keep it real. Get yourself a mentor. Get yourself someone who you respect within the trade, no matter what trade you are. This was specifically for plumbers, because we need it. We need to stop being naive and thinking that we know everything. It's impossible. Let's keep it real, man. Some of us learned from a textbook which was that small. Talking about. I met plumbers who told me they've been qualified for 5 years, but don't know how to test a stack for a leak. You only work in that workplace. I made a video about that before. And he asked me personally, oh, could you give me some advice on like starting a business? You're not ready. That's my advice. Your advice is you're not ready, because the basics you don't understand. And nowadays, more jobs are more intricate than the basics, because nobody installs the basics. They install systems which are supposed to be sustainable, supposed to be energy saving. So, it's like looking at a bit of pipework and understanding there being loads of bends on it, or a sharp bend before the toilet. That's going to cause your toilet to block. If you couldn't look at a job and tell someone from that by looking at it. Again, go back to the drawing board, my boy. Go back to your textbook. Get that textbook out and read it front to back. Because you might not have this mentor person. You might not have this OG around you. You might not have access to someone who has that experience. So by getting that book out, you can now learn textbook wise. And at least textbook wise will get you through to a certain point until you really start learning from your own experiences, which is going out there. I'm telling you, the reason why they got books, yeah, is because there's knowledge in them. I couldn't really tell you what the sole reason why a lot of people don't actually share that information with others. I couldn't. I would like to. Shout out people joining the chat, yeah? I couldn't. I would like to do more events and show up in more social places where I can help people. I'm doing some stuff with some charities which brings awareness, which really aligns with me. Really, really, I can't wait to do that. But me, I'm here as a vessel to be able to help others in it because I've been in need of help at times. And like I said to you, I'm fortunate enough to have these mentors as not even individuals I don't know. They're members of my family. Just keep it real with you, lot. They're members of my family. They're not obligated to help me. I have to go out my way to be like, Uncle, can I learn this from you? Uncle, can I come with you? I'm a big man. I'm in my 30s. But there's putting that pride aside to learn. But when you've got this pride and ego thing, yeah, you feel like you know it all. What do you have as a favorite? Remember. Oh, so there's a question in the chat. What do you have as your favorite and your most memorable job? So my most favorite and memorable job. So there's a post which I'm gonna be putting out very soon. Yeah, there is something which is called a Baxi Bermuda boiler. Yeah, like I said, I'm not 40 years old. Baxi Bermuda boiler, which is a Y-plan system, right? They're in old school houses. This was a house in Ilford, right? And we converted that into a combination boiler. So again, I was on the job with my uncle. I never seen these boilers before. I didn't even know what it was called before. You won't see these types of things. They look like they go inside your fireplace, right? And when you don't see those types of things, you don't understand what they are. You think, oh, it's a fireplace. It's not. It's a boiler. I've just told you. Didn't know that before. Pipework goes up the wall and goes right all the way up to the top because they've got an expansion F&E tank, which is in your loft, right? And it's got a cylinder, which will be on the second floor. And then the expansion tank will be on the roof. We done a conversion. And on that conversion, I learned a lot, you know? It's not to say that I didn't know everything. Yeah, I'm going to get to the second question in a minute after I finish this one, guys. I appreciate you dropping the questions. Thank you to both of you guys who are dropping those questions in it. Very important. What I learned was how to install something properly, the reason why we're doing it, and making sure that you do the relative things. I always knew that you do power flushes because every heating system is a closed system, right? So if you don't flush the water, it's dirty water, which is in the system, which is sludge, which is built up over time. You know, if anybody tells you that they put in boilers in one day and then they just leave, I don't know, man. I don't know about that because I know about power flushing, period, point blank. After you finish the job, it's not just finished there. We also put in a new programmer and a stat. And when you're putting in these stats and stuff like that, they need to be wired up. There's a 2-port valve which is on there as well. So therefore, we've got electricians on the team who come in and do that side of it. But I sit there and I watch after I've done my work, obviously. And if I need to do everything, I'm doing it. But watching that process allowed me to understand, you know what I'm a part of right now is something which is priceless. People are not getting this type of experience. What they're getting is, yeah, go and put that pipe underneath there and go and do that. They're not really talking you through the job or letting you understand how to explain it. So I'm at the point where I could speak to the customer, the client myself, and explain to them what goes on. Because if I'm left at the job getting on with something, I can now commit to finish doing that. And if any relative questions come up, any hiccups or anything like that, I can explain them to the customer. You can't do that when you don't know. Next question. I'm currently doing my MVQ level 2 635 on my second year. What should I do next, please? I would do my level 3. Never run away from education when you're in it. Don't think to yourself that you've got the ability to go out and go and do it. What I would do on top of that, I would start from now is to find local businesses. You'll find local plumbers which are online. Get their email address, get their phone number, call them and tell them that you're in such and such college. You might be, let's say you live in like King's Cross. Oh, I'm at Cornell College at the moment. I'm doing my 635. I'm in my level 2. I'm actually looking for a vacancy or wondering if you do have any vacancies available, or if you don't, are you willing to allow me to come on site with you to a job so I can get my assessment portfolio signed off? Because that assessment folder has to be done on site. You know that. So before they start saying, oh, yeah, have you got someone to sign off your portfolio? Because that's what slows people the hell down. They can't get to the next point because they can't get that assessment part signed off. And that will hold you up. Find those people who are working in your area, who are local plumbers. Say to yourself, I'm willing to give my time for free from the jump. Once you're giving your time for free, there is nothing in exchange than what you need but those signatures, and those signatures are vital for you to get that qualification paperwork, and that paperwork will take you to the next step. And I'm telling you, if you're under the age of where you're not paying for none of this stuff, get it for free for now. Because if you look at the price of it when you leave college or go to another private training center, you could be looking in the excess of anything up from 2 grand to 7 grand. And if you ain't got money, you won't be able to pay for it. That's how it's gonna go. Are you talking about a Baxi Bermuda boiler? Yeah. Yes, I am talking about the Baxi Bermuda boiler. Sorry, I'm doing a diploma. Okay. Oh, you're doing a diploma. All right, and you're 22. Right. With your diplomaship qualification, yeah. And I'm going to tell you the difference between the MVQ and the diplomaship, yeah. So workplaces and work environments look at the MVQ as a higher level of qualifications because it shows your technical ability, being able to do assessments, right? And they prefer that instead of the diploma. I'm not trying to say the diploma is not worth anything, but there are some jobs what specifically say if you have a diplomaship, yeah, we are looking for people like that, right? So I would explore those avenues of workplaces which require that, because there are some, you just got to search and look for them. Get yourself in the door. It's about getting yourself in the door as soon as possible so you can now start making money from this qualification which you've invested your time in. No one likes to invest their time into something and they're not making nothing from it. Start to look for these avenues with workplaces who require people with a diplomaship. But I'm telling you, the difference in the qualification, the MVQ qualification is much more powerful inside the workplace than it is compared to diplomaship. But there's nothing wrong with having a diplomaship. Yeah, it will get you in the door. But the MVQ is the preferred one because it shows you being able to understand assessments and passing them. Because remember, the diplomaship is all to do with mainly the classwork. It's not to do with any practical or anything like that. And you need the practical experience in life because plumbing is a practical job. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. If there's any more questions, just let me know. 1 second. Would you say it's worth working for independent plumber sign off your to check on checker trade. You know what? The question was, would you say it's worth um, an independent plumber signing off your assessment through the tracker trade? Right. The only thing with tracker trade, yeah, and me personally, you just get a lot of bozos on tracker trade. I'm just not gonna lie to you, man. Tracker trade is a platform which people pay to be on. So you got to understand those people are about the money as well. So it's no better than going to a normal plumber who has the qualifications that can sign it off. I wouldn't say that I would go and look for someone on Tracker Trader, because people on Tracker Trader are generally looking for to generate business for themselves, not really to help other people. That's the truth. So I would look on Google. It's simple. Just go onto Google, type in whatever area you live in, Romford, Ilford, Stratford, and put in local plumbers. There will be a list of people that come up. I would start taking down those people's numbers, names, and I would contact them one by one and say, "Hi, my name is Stuart. I'm doing an apprenticeship at the moment. I need somebody to be able to sign off for my work. I was wondering if I could get some work experience from you, and I'm willing to work for free." That's the first thing you got to say. I'm willing to work for free. I'm actually in college at the moment, and I've looked up your business. It looks it looks like you've got a good, well-run business, and I would like to get some experience from you. But I really like to get my portfolio signed off, because that's what your goal is. But you got to understand your exchange of time could be for free, and it has to be a possibility, because it costs the business to carry someone else for the day. You got to understand that. That's how businesses work. Yeah. So I personally wouldn't look for a tracker trade. I'll just go into Google and look for companies. There are many companies up and down inside London that can accommodate you. There are plumbers who can accommodate you on a job. And like I said, just get in contact with them and just ask them the question. So I'm doing my level 2. Oh, so your level 2 diploma is 635 diploma. Would you say, right? So I'm doing my level 2 635. Okay, I'm looking at the screen while I'm doing this. I'm doing my level 2 diploma. Pay for my MVQ? Would I say that you should pay for your MVQ? Yeah, I would. I would. But see if you can join a college as an adult class, because they do adult classes in evenings in colleges, and you could be able to get your diploma. You could be able to get your MVQ through that. So there's adult classes which you might qualify for because you're the age of 22 years old, right? So I would try and look for a local college which will accommodate an adults class, because a lot of colleges do an evening adult class, and you would qualify for that being that age. Hopefully that helps you. Yeah, I'm doing that right now in the morning and doing my diplomaship. Okay. Yeah, but ask about the MVQ, which will be either evening class as an adult, because I think because you're 22, I think it comes underneath that. So ask the questions about if you can go to an adult class, because I feel that you being 22, you come underneath that. Hopefully that helps you. I appreciate everybody dropping these questions, because sometimes it's really hard to create a community where people come on and they're open to be able to speak and ask questions. No, thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate both of you guys that have come in the comment section on the live right now, that have been able to ask questions, because look, I said at the beginning, yeah, our problem in life a lot of the time as plumbers, yeah, is that we feel I'm stupid by asking questions. There is no question which is stupid. Yeah, we don't know stuff. So if I'm a person who's going to be online and sharing information, I'll always answer questions. I appreciate you saying thank you as well, and I hope you have a great day. To both of you guys as well, and I hope that you're successful plumbers too. How would you how would you process through bends and practicing your craft when you're not at college? Good question. So the question was, how would you work on doing plumbing bends and doing your pipe work? Yeah, I would go. Uh, Look, this is why this industry always costs money. Yeah, so you can get something which is called track pipe. Yeah, it's a plastic pipe, and they generally sell them at places so you can practice bends. So you can buy some of them online. So it's like a plastic looking PVC pipe. Sometimes they come in green, and you would have to have yourself a benders. So buying a set of benders will start you off so you could do it on your own accord. Benders are not really that expensive. And if that's what you're worried about or practicing, I would buy a pair of benders and buy track pipe. Track pipe is like just a plastic pipe which they use oftenly when they don't have copper, because copper is expensive. Like you can't be going out to the shop buying rolls and rolls of copper or tubes of copper and stuff like that. It's expensive, you know what I mean? So get some track pipe, buy yourself a benders and practice when you're at home. I've got a video which is going to be coming out very soon on my channel as well, which is going to be about offsets, passovers, and pulling bends. So I pull a 90 as well with the spring. So there's a spring bend which you can do on your knee to pull a 90 as well. And it's not a long video, but I'll be putting that video out very soon on my channel. It's just I've been waiting for my monetization and stuff like that. So yeah, the track pipe and investing in your tools to be able to practice these things. Like if you feel like you need extra help and stuff like that, even ask it at college, because I was a lecturer at college and I oftenly allowed a lot of students who wanted to learn a little bit extra to be able to jump into my class. But all they had to do was kind of ask me. I kind of put it out to them, but they've got to ask. But as you see, asking in life is a key point for you to get to your next point. If you never ask, you don't get. That's always going to be a factor of life. Always ask. So get yourself a pair of cheap benders, monument benders. There's loads of different types. You got Rothenberg benders. It just depends. Rothenberg benders, I think, have got good markings on them as well. So it just depends if you want to spend the extra on them, and they all do the same thing, but all benders are different. And you know how to get your bending point is use another bit of copper, and you put it at the end of the pipe as you put it in when you put your guide at the front, and you hold it there. I need to do a video on that. I'll do a video on that, to help you. I will. I guarantee I'll do a video on that to help you. So I will make a video because you specifically asked me, which will help my community and not just yourself, but I'm doing it specifically just to help you because you've been a star in the chat today, being able to point out things which people need. And I'm here for that, innit? So I appreciate that. But I got to jump off now because I'm so hungry and it's lunchtime. I appreciate you coming on, guys. I wish you all the best. And if you need any more help and assistance, yeah, my Instagram page is always in the description box below. Please do shoot me a message because I answer all people back. Again, needing help, I'm there for you. So send me a message on Instagram what you specifically need. And even if I can help one or two people out, because I work with a lot of brands, I want to do something giving back to our younger generation. Like this young gentleman asked me about what he needs to get, and even if he's not available, not hasn't got the funds or something like that to get the benders and stuff like that. I work with a lot of companies, and if I can do something for a giveaway for free, you'll be that person, bro. You'll be that person. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, get the textbooks, guys, and I wish you all well. OGs are the people to learn from. Never forget that. Find yourself a mentor because it's most important for your development if you want to succeed within plumbing. And I'm here to help as well. So again, I said, drop me a message on Instagram. My Instagram handle will be in the description box below. So definitely do check it out. This is my phone. So my Instagram's in my hand. Message me when I get off. Both of you two can message me when I get off, and I will send you any relative information which you do need to have, even if it's the smart screens from your college. I have all that access to that as well. So don't just ask me, bro, and I'll sort it out for you, man. I don't have a problem with that. But I want you guys to have an amazing day. And just remember, there's many steps to take in life when it comes to being successful or being the plumber you want to be. Learn from others because there's a big lesson to learn. And again, my Instagram handle is in the description box below. Appreciate you all. Like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on my next upload. Appreciate you all, yeah?